Hello, everyone. Welcome to a different side of the inside. We're back and we're on track, and we're getting ready to continue our conversation on what's going on inside of the prison, behind the prison walls. Today, we have Clarence with us. He's going to give us some information that's going to help us have a better understanding of what's happening. Clarence, I want you to just introduce yourself and, have your way.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Clarence Knight. I'm a convicted prisoner in California State Prison. I've been incarcerated since 1979. I've been in all the level 4 prisons in state of California for the reasons that my conviction permitted. However, a lot of the things that I'm going to speak about today are my perspective through my experiences, my understanding of what I went through and lots of people have went through in prison. I want to try to give some insight on the very details of the things that families and parents, women and children don't understand about the inside of prisons and what the prisoners go through, male and female, because it is a very different society than that in which we leave when we leave society itself. What goes on inside these walls, I don't want you to...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I don't want you to think that my words are the exact truth, but know that they are my truth, because I have no reason to lie about anything. Everything that I can and will say may be critiqued by others, but it's just, what I'm doing is just designed to give you examples of what's going on so that you will have a better insight on it. Well, first and foremost, prison itself is the same as it's always been. Prison's been in existence for years, many, many years in California, but California became overpopulated with prisons at some point. It became an industry, part of corporations that make money off the incarceration of inmates. A lot of inmates are in prison for their own actions. However, once inside prison, a lot of the parents may think that, okay, well, my son or my daughter is being cared for, they're being housed, and they're being fed, and they're being showered, and they're being clothed, and you may think they're safe, but in all actuality, inside a prison, is a whole different structure, and the understanding of it has to be spelled out just to a degree where I don't overshoot and get to talking about things that can backfire and cause detriment or harm to anyone. However, it's a difficult situation to explain because inside the prison you have law enforcement officials are supposed to be upholding the law, and for the most part, you have a lot who does uphold the law. They're law enforcement. But then on the other hand, the criminal aspect of prison life, you have prison guards who come in and take advantage of the opportunities that inmates like to take advantage of, and it continues on with criminality, and it's called hustle. So a lot of times when you don't really see with your own eyes what's going on inside a prison, you believe exactly what maybe the news outlets say. Prison officials have the opportunity to use their public affairs to say things to the public that inmates don't get to combat or correct or critique, and it's just like we're voiceless up in here. And then it's difficult for a lot of the correctional officers to actually do their job because it's a form of like the system combating criminality, but it's like they're combating criminality and law enforcement within their own ranks within the Department of Corrections. So with that being said, there's a lot of yes.
All right.
All right, so in my last words about the criminality between the prison guards and within their own ranks, it's chaotic, to say the least, for those who are trying to uphold the law and those who are actually breaking the law in the face of the others. And it's a challenge, because here's the thing what goes on in prison is, everybody in prison is mindful of the fact that, snitches get stitches. Those are the terms, and these are some of the intimidations, that control people. And people are mindful of the fact that they're in prison, for criminal acts that, snitching is not allowed. However, when you have law enforcement enforcing law on the inside, and they permit certain things that goes on in prisons, inmates naturally are going to take advantage of those opportunities, and that's what makes prison life what it is, because the hustles and, people get caught up into these hustles and ways of making a living inside prison, and all inmates need some form of support inside the prison, financial support, spiritual support, emotional support, because a lot of the inmates who come into the system are unaware of what goes on in prison. They're in the blind as well, and they learn as they go along. And some people pay a dear cost, because of their lack of experience and their lack of knowledge. It puts them in a situation where they have to figure out which direction they're headed and who to be involved with, what to be involved with, how to go about certain things. And at the same time, trying to survive, literally trying to survive, trying to eat to survive, trying to stay fit to survive, thinking about coming home and getting involved in the different programs that are available. And there are many, many opportunities, but there's a whole lot of distractions as well. And a lot of these distractions are catches, they're niches, they're like traps and snares for people who really, really look for rehabilitation, look for a way to come back home. And in today's prison world, there's opportunities now more so to come home than it was ever in prison. Prison today is full of life for inmates. Inmates who have been sentenced to ridiculously disparate sentences, and in California, it's mainly black people and brown people. And we've been subjected to a form of law enforcement that not only punished us for the crimes that we committed, but they design ways to heighten those punishments, and keep us in prison for lengthier periods of time, using terms like life with the possibility of parole, and life without the possibility of parole, death sentences, and they almost all spell the same thing because of the way the laws are being enforced. The whole thing about a lifer who's doing time with the possibility of parole, the way they sentence us in California can stack the charges on you for one actual act of robbery where you fired a pistol, and then that turns into attempted murder, firing a gun into an inhabited dwelling or automobile vehicle, if there's 10 people inside of the bus or the van, they say that you could have killed 7 people, and now you have 7 attempted murders, and this is all based on one single act. But these things are like designed to keep people trapped in prison because California has made prison an industry. People benefit from it. People invest money and they make money off the labor of inmates.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
It's no.
Okay. So Clarence, you were talking about the prison being a business per se. The people are making billions of dollars. So let us know, how does that relate to modern day slavery?
Well, being that this industry fuels off the inmate population, the amount of inmates that are incarcerated are the labor force itself. Inmates are working inside of the prisons, for rehabilitative purposes, so to say, and to earn credits and behavior credits and work credits to try to earn their way out of prison and to earn their privileges and entitlement. However, we're paid minuscule prices or wages that a person can't even really, at the end of the day, buy a roll of toilet paper and a bag of potato chips. But you have to work for the whole month just to get that small wage. And it's a sham, and it's a shame as well, because the prison PIA system is actually the prison industry authority that produces these jobs.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Way of living for people who invest their money in PIA. So, while the inmates who are in prison, a lot of the things that go on with the prisoners themselves, they're oblivious to what is really happening with them because they don't interest themselves in that in which is in the background of their incarceration, that in which they don't see what administrators and prison officials and the California system, has going on with the inmates. Their focus is on making a living, trying to stay alive, trying to march to the tune of what goes on in prison, so that they can stay free of drama, trouble, and the combination of those things right there is it's difficult because aside from trying to get out of prison, the other distractions keeps them in the blind and not knowing how to express what it is that they're going through. They're not allowed to. They seem to be unaware of how their presence in prison fuels the industry, how much money people make off the inmates being in prison, maintaining these job positions, how inmates are punished for not working, how inmates are made to believe that by them not working makes them non-programmers. And then for those who like to take advantage of making money or having a job that can pay a lot of money, they become obsessed with their positions so that they can better themselves for coming home, in the sense that your work performance allows for laudatory clients. Your work performance say, yeah, he's a good old boy, and then on the flip side, you got the gang.